It's funny. We talk about like exploring the world, uncharted territories, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really wild is that some of the most fascinating realms might be, right here.
Yeah, inside.
Inside us, exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're diving into the world of Saint Matt, which speaks to this idea of inner geography.
Okay.
Like these realms beyond our senses that actually have an impact on our daily lives.
I love that. And what's so cool about St. Matt is that it's not just this like heady mystical stuff.
Right.
It actually gives you practical tools,
Yeah.
insights that you can use in your everyday life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's about really understanding yourself
Okay.
and the world around you, just on a much deeper level.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Your sources talk about this place called Sach Khand, the fifth inner plane, a kind of home base for the soul. What's the deal with this fifth plane?
So Sach Khand, think of it as like the ultimate destination, the region of truth, right?
Mm.
And it's described as the first completely spiritual plane,
Okay.
where like pure consciousness hangs out.
Mm-hmm.
If you imagine like every soul is a drop of water,
Okay.
Sach Khand is that vast ocean that everything ultimately returns to.
Oh, I like that. So it's like that saying, we all return to the sea, but from different streams.
Exactly.
So these planes are kind of like the streams guiding us back to that ocean of pure consciousness.
Yes, and it's important to remember they're not physical places, right? They're like stages in the soul's journey back to the source.
Gotcha.
But just like if you're going on a trip, you need a map.
Right.
Understanding these planes, it gives you a framework for your own inner exploration.
So it's less about physically going somewhere and more about an inward journey of awareness.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about shifting your perspective from like the outer world to your inner world.
Yeah, there's this symbol. You mentioned the 1,000-petaled lotus in Sahasdal Kanwal, which honestly, that's hard to picture.
1,000 petals, that's a lot.
I know, 1,000 petals.
But picture it. Imagine this radiant lotus, right?
Okay.
In your mind's eye. Every single petal is just like vibrating with energy.
Okay.
And each one represents a different part of your awareness.
Okay.
Right? And as you connect more and more with the divine, these petals, they unfold and your awareness just expands.
Like a lotus blossoming in the sun.
Exactly.
Getting more and more radiant. So this lotus within us, is it connected to our thoughts, our intentions? Are we talking about manifesting here?
It's not manifesting in like, the way people talk about it sometimes.
Right.
But you're kind of on the right track because the source material suggests this lotus actually guides both our physical and like subtler processes. It's like the bridge between what's going on inside and our actual experiences,
Interesting.
And this is where it gets really cool. St. Matt says our thoughts, they aren't just like abstract things bouncing around in our heads.
Yeah.
They have an actual frequency.
Okay.
Like tuning into different stations on the radio dial.
So are you saying my thoughts are literally sending out radio waves?
Well, I mean, not literally.
No.
Not literally.
Okay.
But there's a reason for this analogy, right?
Okay.
Because there's actually a passage that talks about how thoughts, they have different smells. Like some are like sweet, like jasmine,
Wow.
but others are like rotten fish. Not so great.
Whoa, okay. That's a powerful image. So like our thoughts are kind of like these energetic vibes that we're putting out there.
Exactly. Like you can tell the difference, right, between someone who's stressed out and someone who's, joyful.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with thoughts. They create this energy that other people pick up on. Yeah. And this all connects to the idea of like a collective consciousness.
Okay.
Where similar thoughts, they combine and they actually start to influence the energy around us.
Right. I've totally felt that. Like being in a room full of like happy, excited people, it feels totally different than being around negativity.
Exactly.
So if our thoughts have this much power, how do we like tap into that? How do we tune into a higher frequency, so to speak?
Okay. Well, that's where this concept of Shabd comes in.
Shabd.
Yeah, it's described as a divine sound current.
Okay.
This subtle vibration that's like underlying all of creation. And St. Matt teaches that by learning to listen to this inner sound, we can actually connect with a power that's way beyond, just the physical realm.
Okay, this Shabd thing, you're going to have to tell me more.
We will in part 2.
This Shabd thing, you really got me curious. It's like we talk about listen to your gut, but this is like listening to the universe. Tell me more. How does this divine sound current, how does it actually work?
Okay, so you know how sometimes like when everything else is quiet, you can almost hear this like subtle hum.
Yeah.
It's like that's probably the closest we get to experiencing Shabd in our everyday life.
Okay.
Saint Matt teaches that it's like the essence of the divine just constantly vibrating within us. And if we can attune ourselves to it, then we can actually reconnect with our true nature.
So how do we do that? Just like sit really quietly and listen. Is that all it takes?
Well, it's a little more involved than that.
Okay.
But quieting the mind, that's definitely the first step.
Right.
One of your sources mentions this practice called Surat Shab Yoga.
Okay.
And Surat, that refers to your attention, Shab, the divine sound. And yoga is union. So it's all about focusing your attention on this inner sound.
Okay.
And that's how you ultimately achieve union with the source.
So is it kind of like meditation, but instead of focusing on your breath, you're focusing on this inner sound?
You're getting warmer, yeah.
Okay.
It's about stilling your mind, right? Withdrawing your senses from like all the external stuff, all those distractions, and then turning your attention inward to really listen for this really subtle vibration. And I think it's important to note here, your source, 11 Virenshaliching, 113.119.pdf, it's pretty clear that this isn't something you hear with your, physical ears.
Right.
Yeah. It's about attuning to a vibration, a frequency, something that resonates really deep down.
Okay, so let's say we can actually tap into this Shabd, this divine sound current. Then what? What happens? Like, what's the end game?
Remember that 1,000-petaled lotus we were talking about?
Yeah.
Your source material actually suggests that as you become more attuned to Shabd, that lotus within you, it starts to blossom. It's like each petal of awareness, it unfolds, right?
Wow.
As you go deeper into this practice. And it's opening you up to these subtler realms.
So it's like this awakening that's happening within you. Does it stop there? Or does this have any impact on, like the world around us?
That is the million-dollar question. And the amazing part is, Saint Matt suggests this isn't just about like individual awakening. As we purify our thoughts, as we connect with that divine sound, it's like we're contributing to this collective upliftment.
So it's all connected. Like raising our own vibration, we're actually contributing to a higher vibration for everyone.
Exactly. And this all like circles back to that idea of the collective consciousness.
Right.
Our individual journeys, our efforts to connect with something greater. It creates this ripple effect.
It's actually kind of a powerful thought to know that we can make a difference, not just in our own lives, but in the world around us too. But this all sounds, I'm not going to lie, it sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
What about those of us who are, curious, but maybe not ready to like dive headfirst into all of this?
That's the beauty of it, You don't have to be like a monk living in a cave, to benefit from these teachings.
Right.
Even small steps can make a huge difference.
Like what?
Like just cultivating more positive thoughts, being mindful, of the impact of your actions.
Yeah.
Those are all steps in the right direction.
So even if you're not like seeking full-blown enlightenment, Saint Matt can still give you tools for just navigating everyday life with more intention, more awareness.
Exactly.
Are there any other like practices or concepts that can help people on that journey?
Yeah, so there's this really interesting concept in the source material, and it talks about the importance of having a spiritual guide,
Okay.
a master.
Okay.
But, and I want to be clear here, it's not about like blind faith or anything like that.
Right.
It's about finding someone who has, walked this path before you.
Okay.
Someone who can offer guidance and support, based on their own experiences.
Is it more like a mentor then?
Yeah, exactly. Like having a seasoned guide. You're going into unfamiliar territory. They can help you navigate. They can help you avoid the pitfalls.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Having someone there to help make sense of it all.
We've covered a lot of ground here, from this idea of Shabd to the role of a spiritual guide. But we haven't really touched on the impact of all of this on our physical selves.
Oh, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
The source actually introduces this very intriguing concept. It's connected to the power of thought, right? And it's the idea that our thoughts, they can actually have a physical effect on the body.
Wait, so you're saying what I'm thinking can actually impact how I physically feel? So you're saying what I'm thinking can actually impact how I physically feel?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, I gotta admit, I'm a little skeptical on this one, but go on. Oh, it's one of those things that might sound a little out there.
Right.
But once you start to connect the dots, it starts to make a lot of sense.
Okay.
There's this one passage from Kirpal Singh that really stood out to me. He's talking about how every thought has its own, vibration, its own color, even its own smell.
Yeah.
And he gives this example where he's like, Imagine a herd of like 100,000 sheep.
100,000 sheep. Okay, that's a lot of sheep.
Right.
I could only imagine.
And they emit this very particular smell, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they share similar thoughts.
So you're saying our thoughts have a tangible essence.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you think about it, like if our thoughts carry that kind of weight,
Yeah.
imagine the impact they must have on our own systems. It's like we're constantly emitting this energy, this frequency, and it's interacting with our physical bodies.
So you're saying like holding on to negative thoughts, that's not just bad for my mood, it's actually like detrimental to my well-being on a physical level.
Think about it like this.
Right.
If you eat junk food all the time, what's it going to do?
Right. It's not good for you.
It's going to take a toll, right?
Yeah.
Saint Mott teaches that harboring those negative thoughts, it's like creating a similar kind of toxicity within us. It's not about like blaming ourselves every time we have a negative thought. Those happen.
Right. They pop up.
Exactly.
You can't always control it.
But it's about recognizing the power they have and learning how to cultivate a more positive, like, inner environment.
So it's like we're always told to eat right, exercise, but what about our mental diet?
That's it. That's a huge focus in SatMat.
Okay.
Purifying those thoughts, cultivating positive qualities. It's not just some feel-good thing. It's like essential for growth.
So how do we do that? How do we like clean up our mental diet?
Well, the texts talk about a couple things.
Okay.
One is called Simran, which is basically repeating a mantra or a sacred word.
Okay.
It helps quiet the mind chatter
Okay.
and focus your attention on something uplifting.
Right.
Another practice is called satsang,
Satsang.
which basically just means surrounding yourself with other truth seekers.
Gotcha.
People who inspire you to like grow and evolve.
So it's like anything else, right? So the
Right.
more you practice, the easier it gets. Like the more you focus on those positive thoughts, the more you surround yourself with those influences, the easier it becomes to kind of maintain that high vibe energy.
You got it. It's about creating that positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
And as you become more aware of your own inner world, you start to see those negative patterns.
Yeah.
And you can choose a different path.
Right.
It's not about suppressing thoughts. It's about taking away their power.
This has been, wow, this deep dive. We've gone deep.
We have.
We talked about these inner planes, the power of thought, this idea that there's like a divine sound current within us.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, but is there like a common thread here
Yeah.
that ties all this together?
I think ultimately it all points to this. There's a profound connection between your inner world and your outer world. What you focus on, it expands, and the energy you cultivate within, it impacts everyone around you.
You know, it's actually kind of empowering to think that we're not just along for the ride. We're active creators here.
Yeah.
Like by understanding these concepts and really putting in the work, we can shape our own reality.
100%. And what I love is that Saint Matt, it gives you that roadmap
Yeah.
for self-discovery, for transformation. And, you know, there's always more to learn.
Right.
But I hope this deep dive has at least given you a taste of what's possible.
I think it has. Thanks so much for diving in with me today.
Thanks for having me.